Okay. So I'm going to give you linear feedback on on how I think the interview went, and then at the end of this feedback, I'll try and summarize the main qualities for each of you and the main points of progress, areas of progress. So let me start. Let me get my notes. So the first minutes of the interview were very positive. Yuri really gave a positive, welcoming, with a very friendly, warm tone of voice. A really welcoming, like you started the interview by saying, I really got some great feedback from you from the previous interviews. The people that interviewed you are very happy. So now, please tell me how did you find those interviews that you had? So I think that's a really good way to start, because it's welcoming, it's positive, and also it opens to the rest. So tell me how you thought your previous interviews went, the previous stages. To that, Shamim was also very thankful and positive in his attitude. He thanked Yuri for the opportunity, and the previous interview said that he was very happy with the opportunity. I forgot something that Yuri did. I don't know exactly when you did it, Yuri, but you really gave a summary of how you were going to conduct the interview. So you really gave, like, so I'm going to tell you about the package, and you can interrupt me whenever you have any questions. And I really hope I will provide you with the necessary information for you to take the position, which is also, it's structured and it's friendly and it's open to discussion. So Shamim, you asked Yuri to discuss the offer. So Yuri showed you the offer again. Okay, recap of the offer. And then Yuri, when you finish presenting the offer again, you said, so is that okay with you? Are you comfortable with the sum? Like Yuri, you, the recruiter, put a question, like a difficult question, in the mind of the applicant, which I think is more of a negative, because you shouldn't give the opportunity to the applicant. It has to come from him. You're giving, in French, you say you're giving the stick to be beaten. But on the other hand, it's good because it opens to negotiation, and it really puts an emphasis with, are you comfortable with this? Maybe not say, are you comfortable with the sum, or but are you comfortable with this, or is there anything you are uncomfortable about, maybe, without putting the precise counter question in the applicant's mind. And then Yuri, so gave really so when Shamim gave the things that he wasn't so comfortable about, Yuri started the question by saying, I understand the figures are a key feature for you. I understand. So understanding, empathetic, very good. And then there's when something really great happened. So Yuri understands and then explains the facts. So we are top level of professionals with great conditions for the team. We are different from the competitors. We really value teamwork and our people, and we want our employees to be comfortable, and we value work-life balance. So this was a really positive way of taking the emphasis away from the problem and showing it in the positive overall setup. And then Yuri concluded that session with, yes, we can discuss. Yes, of course, but yes, of course, we can discuss. So once again, Yuri is opening to more negotiation. So, and it shouldn't be Yuri to do that. It should be Shamim to say, yes, I understand, but there's also this problem and this problem. So Yuri, you tend to put the finger, and I don't think you should do that. And then Shamim. So Shamim, so is willing to compromise. Yes, if you are willing to increase your standards, I will lower mine. We can come to an agreement. So it shows compromise, openness, and then once again you talk opens to another concern, which is the vacation period. So then Yuri repeats the question. So it's good you reformulate the question, but that's when something really weird happened. Because when you were talking about the problem that your family lives remotely, lives in a different place, and that you need more vacation time, Shamim, and Yuri said, yes, I understand your concern, I understand your problem, but maybe you could consider relocation, meaning you could bring your family, you could consider bringing your family here. And you, Shamim, said, oh, yes, okay, that's good. So that means that I can go, you can relocate me there, to where my family is. And so there was a very, that big question, which was the vacation question, was completely confused. Like, you didn't have the same understanding of the question and the answer. So maybe, yeah, lack of clearance, too confusing. But then Yuri said that but of course the job can be partly remote, emphasize on the work-life balance again. So once again, Yuri was reassuring, we can find a solution, we can work remotely, we're in favor of the work-life balance, and so that was good, a good way to catch up. Then in terms of remote working, that was very clear. So showing flexibility, saying when Shamim asked the question, what's your policy on remote working remotely? And then Yuri said, well, it depends on the client, and then says, and really put an emphasis on what must be and then on what is more flexible. So when the client is there, obviously you have to be there, but when it's work that can be done at a distance, it's flexible. So that was good. It was kind of putting the emphasis on what is not flexible and putting the emphasis on what is flexible, really talking about both. So I thought that was very clear and very positive. The freedom to organize your time. So, and then the issue of the starting date. Here, Shamim, I thought you were beating around the bush a little bit. Like you didn't say directly what your problem was. Talking about vacation, you were a little bit saying, well, it's because I have a vacation planned with my family and after my MBA and my friends. And, you could have just said, I have a problem. I have a vacation planned. I've already booked my tickets. They are non-refundable. Can we consider starting at a later date? Instead of being like confusing. Too many words to ask a simple question. And then, so Yuri was very understanding about that and explained, which I thought was also very empowering for the applicant, explained like why it was good for the applicant to start early, because it would be good within the scope of the project to start early with the client, to just gain more understanding. It would just be better for you as an employee, as a worker, and you should think about that. So I thought that was a really good way of answering, but also still saying, of course, we want to make things comfortable for you, so we're open to negotiations. And then there was another mistake on Yuri's part again, where he said, if you need, of course, we will compensate any loss of money or something. The company will compensate. And of course, you'll have vacations added later if you need to, that again is something that the applicant didn't ask for. So why suggest it if it's not something that's clearly asked for? He never said, the applicant never said, I have a non-refundable ticket and I'm going to lose money. But anyway, both applicant and recruiter very open to compromise. And then just at the end, back to the salary. So the salary was something that was not solved. So that Shamim came back to the salary. So that was very cleverly put back onto the table. And that's when you were honest and straight to the point and said, look, I have another offer. I really want to work with you. I prefer working with you, but I have another offer and it's more interesting in terms of salary. And can we discuss this? I thought this is to the point, although still a little bit too long, but at least it was, facts. And then Yuri said, okay, so let's look at the package in its full, like, let's look at the figures. And I thought that was very clever as well, because let the figures speak for themselves. If you add up the package, you can see that you are within the top range and this is a really good package. And look, I mean, the package is really good. So that was a very clever to just kind of take away the effect, the feeling, the emotional side, and really bring back to just figures. Look, this is a good deal. So Shamim said, okay, I need time to think about it, and Yuri a couple of days, and Yuri said, oh, yeah, that's fine, but the sooner the better, basically, because we really want to be able, and not say we are in a hurry to start the work. It's really like we're in a hurry to welcome you and to provide you with all the material so that as soon as you start you can work, and the laptop and all that. And that was very positive way of saying we really want to know fast. But Shamim didn't let himself be too influenced by that and said, I want to start comfortably. I need a little bit of time to think. I will. When I give you my answer, I will be fully confident, but I just need a bit more time. So you didn't let Yuri take over. You wanted to keep the last say on your decision. And then that's when I thought the interview could have ended, because you talked about the salary, and no, Shamim didn't have any more questions, but Yuri once again said, why didn't you ask me about our environment? Like, gave you another question to ask for. And I think this is another question that the applicant didn't ask for and could potentially create new problems that were not addressed. So that's the negative side of putting questions in the other person's head. But then the positive side of this is that it means that you really trust your company and you really trust your the job position. So let's talk about the environment. Positive that I want to talk about. So it can be negative, but it can also be positive. You just have to be really confident about your company. And so that's when Shamim asks about his future boss. Can you give me any personal hints? So yeah, it's good because you're gathering more information on your work environment. But I just think and from the recruiter point of view, it wasn't necessary to bring back another topic. But then again, emphasis on teamwork, that was really good. And then training, and then the question about training. And so Yuri managed to, with this question about why didn't you ask about the environment, he managed to once again emphasize the fact that the company provided great training, lots of employee development, and but always with a focus in mind. At one point, Yuri, you said, "But we don't want to create too much leisure," which I thought was a little bit much as well, because yeah, well, you just don't want to say that because you're at work, so of course you don't want. You want people to have fun, but not too much fun. And then, so yeah, training opportunities. Yeah, and then conclusion, and the conclusion was very good, because Shamim said, of course, I am available if you have any questions. So, okay. And then Yuri summarized all the points that you'd gone through in the interview, and as a conclusion said, okay, we will leave you a little bit of time to discuss this with your family. Very good conclusion. So, in a nutshell, I think the positive of Yuri and Shamim is that they are both very listening to each other, very empathetic, very understanding, open-minded, and ready to compromise, looking for a solution, like together. So there's a really a solution-oriented discussion that took place in order to really work together so that all parties are happy and fulfilled with their requirements. So that was very good. On the negative aspects, as I said, Yuri, I think you give too much questions that are not there. So it's a little bit dangerous to do that, I think. If you leave the applicant come up with his own issues without suggesting new issues that he may not have thought about. And Shamim, I think it's a little bit too long, like too confusing. You're not clear. I mean, you are clear, but it's a lot of words. So if you just cut like the sentences, make them shorter and more precise, then we avoid misunderstandings. Okay, so that's my feedback.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, dear Laura, for this good observation. I think it's a very good feedback from my point of view, and maybe Yuri, you can start something, or I will.
Yes, I can add something. I just make some notes during this feedback. Actually, for me, in general, it was, I would say, we covered a lot of topics. And for me, it was extremely positive and efficient. So I think it was one of the goals for me. And thank you, Shamim, to support in this, because we really covered a lot of things and discussed all of them. I agree that something was wrong with structure, because we started with I started with salary, and after several points we return again to this salary. But on the other hand, I think that when we return to this topic the second time, you already have a lot of information about company, and it might be reasonable to discuss it a little bit later, because we already get some information. And it was really nice for me that Shamim really asked about his problem, about something which is worried him, because I try to understand these problems and try to solve it somewhere. And Laura, about these questions, maybe some out of scope questions, I would say. It might be something personal, because I worked for a company once when it was some kind of like fair play, when you can discuss everything, and it's better to discuss it from the beginning during an interview, and you can ask about some figures, about something. And when I leave this company, it was the same process. It was a really good and friendly process of living. And it was really comfortable for me, and I understand that I bring this company a lot, and it doesn't matter how often I will be in vacation, really, and a lot of these things, it's really doesn't matter in some cases. And I have another experience when it was really difficult to understand, to talk with, to discuss something, and it was another opportunity. So I think maybe really it's personal. So I prefer to make some environment for person to feel better. And this company, by description, it was something like this. So I like this role, and maybe it's the reason why I asked these questions.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Shamim. It was really great. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Laura, again for your feedback, and also thank you, Yuri. So while I was observing the video, I pointed out some of the facts that I should do or I should not do, and also the good thing and from this interview. So first of all, it was very nice to play this role as an applicant, because of course it will help me for my future interview for sure, and I'm glad I'm playing this role. And the good thing is here from the interview, I found that I was showing myself as enthusiastic as I could. Sometimes I was smiling. Maybe this over smiling expression is not good. So for the person who is in front of me, I don't know how Yuri was feeling, but this is my natural habit when I was talking with people. So that's why I thought that this smiling was exaggerated, or it was fine. Maybe Laura could stress this point, but she didn't. This is good.
No, I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah, so I was also thinking that Laura will tell us something about our gesture and our movement, or some attitude for the interviews. Maybe you can tell something about this. How do you think about our like a body combination and gesture for the interview and this type of environment? How do you think?
And I think it was good. You both had calm postures, but then it's different from seeing you in real life. But you both had calm postures, calm tones of voice, very calm, very calm and listening and focused. And yeah, I think everything was in line. There was no stress, no,
This was just the few questions I had to Laura to know, so that's why within my feedback I'm asking. So overall, the interview process was very good, and thanks to Yuri to go through the process asking me question, because these types of question I must appreciate Yuri, because while the interviewer is not asking question to the applicant sometimes is a little bit confused what to do or not, because during an interview process, of course, the interviewers have in good position because they are not in confusion or afraid, but it's opposite to applicant because he or she thinks, okay, I am explaining something good or bad. My return will hamper my offer or something. So Yuri was very gentle for this case. He was helping me by asking question and also as an applicant, and it was helping me to go through the process. So I must thank Yuri again for these things. One of the problem I was showing that I was mumbling sometimes, as maybe Laura said, I was explaining a little bit longer for each sentence. So this one, so I will explain you why it is this one, and then why this type of mumbling is there, why I am stressing a sentence. To be noted here. I am from Asia, so I am from Asian region. So I have some cultural habit of Asian region to feel and during interview or some negotiation process indirectly, not the direct like Western people. You may know from the paper it was also mentioning, but at the same time, I am living in Europe almost 8 years. So I have now a combination of Asian plus European mentality for negotiation. So that's why I was instead of going very straight to the point, I was asking some question to get some information from the company from Yuri. That's why my question was a little bit longer instead of direct to the point and giving my answer, because it was from Asian, but at some point I was very like Western, because I came back to the first question because now because I was focusing that I need the answer directly, as you mentioned. So you see that my behavior has been changed. Before I was Asian, mentality Asian, but living in Europe, I need some straightforward answer, because many of the question Yuri was explaining. Okay, it is possible. We can negotiate, but he was not giving a direct answer. So it was I must say that it was a clever answer from the interviewer point of view, because if Yuri gave me the direct answer, that means he is bound to do this. And when you are saying it is possible, that means I never know. He said, okay, it is negotiable for the number of vacation. It will get some problem in future for sure. As I was keep silent that time, I didn't stress because I need to go through the offer. So what happen if I will take this offer and one day you will say, okay, I said it is negotiable, but it can be 1 or 2 days, or he can say, okay, you are too busy, because it is not written in the paper. Written in the paper is 10 and negotiable is totally different. So many of the questions that I asked to Yuri said it is possible to negotiate according to the but it's for the future. I don't know. But one thing, I should not do this like this. That is my salary, because based on my salary, it will be changing everything. My salary, and then the bonus, because bonus is 25%. So if the salary is changing, bonus will be also changing. It can be maximum 25%. So I was going back to ask and give the concrete answer from Yuri to good reason. So I think it was a good point for me. But of course, I had some bad point. I did some mistake. One of the mistake was already Laura mentioned that at some point Yuri was asking me for instead of vacation, I can relocate, or there is a relocation. But the answer was a little bit confusing, because when I was listening relocating, I was thinking that there is relocation option where my family is living in. That's why I express a little bit more that okay, you know that where my family is, there is possibility to relocate myself there. So you may think that okay, this is a mistake from me, but I explain Yuri again, showing that okay, relocation means I can relocate there. It is not like relocating my family to where I am working. So yeah, I understand that it is a misunderstanding from both the point, not only from my case, but it may happen.
Yeah, it's a misunderstanding from both of you.
Yes, I agree. I just not started to clarify it because it's in terms of budget. It doesn't matter who and where to relocate.
But I think during an interview and many types of information, some sort of this information gap can be happen. But of course, it will not impact for the whole offer, because it is, for example, if you in the negotiation skill, here you can say that when the person is moving, transport allowance and this type of allowance, those type of allowance is quite negligible for the client, for the applicant, because for me, because I'm not living frequently, so this transportation and this type of like a salary is not so important for me. So that's why it was quite confusing for me when my family was coming to me, and this is one times relocation allowance. This is not regularly, so but it is fine. One of the point that Laura discussed, that I will give an answer in couple of days, but no, I said within 2 days. So because it was strictly written in the paper that I should give an answer by the end of the day. So I said within 2 days. So maybe today you may think that within 2 days.
I thought you said 2 days. Okay, yeah.
Okay. So just to clarify if it is so. And then overall, it was a very nice play for me. I learned how I am performing during an interview, and it will be very good for my future for sure. So thank you very much to both of you, and also your feedback.
It was nice, really.
Yeah. So any question from you?
Now so I gave you feedback, you gave feedback.
And it's fine. I think it's more than 30 minutes, so it is fine for both of us.
Okay, so now so we can stop recording.
I can stop recording. Okay.